Welcome to the Jira Life, the place to find news, events, and interviews with the Atlassian community's movers and shakers. Join our hosts, Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira guy Nissen, as well as the JirAmigos in the Peanut Gallery, as we sit down and discuss the latest going on in the Atlassian ecosystem. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life, the Jira Life chose us.
Hello.
I'm so glad we stopped mentioning the episode number we were on, because I just realized I have no idea what number we're on right now.
We are in season 2, episode 20.
I'm glad you.
As a person who writes the scripts, I have to know.
Oh, it's on the title.
Yeah.
And we have a very special guest today.
We are super excited about this guest. Jensen is an Atlassian. She is working on the new hot thing everyone's talking about. Why don't you give us a little introduction?
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm Jensen Fleming. I'm the product manager for conversational AI at Atlassian. So I work specifically on Rovo chat and Rovo agents. So that's what has been my life for the last 8 months or so. So I'm really excited to share more with you guys. I was excited to finally get it out into the wild and let everybody know about it at Team 2 weeks ago. So that's a big cat out of the bag. So stoked to talk to everybody about it this week and share a little bit more about what we're doing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we are so crazy excited because since we saw this, I know me and Alex and our producer Bob, we've been talking about this both with others and amongst ourselves, and like, can we just get a hold of it already? We want to play with it.
Yeah, but also keep in mind we had to bite our tongue for a couple of weeks there since we were under NDA as well.
Yeah.
So that was really tough. We got to Teams, and I don't know, Jensen, if you saw or if you've seen some of the other episodes, right? But at Teams we were doing live streams, and we get there and we have a like, what are your team's expectations on, was it Tuesday night,
Tuesday.
right? And then on Wednesday morning, we did like, what are your Team 24 keynote predictions? And like about like 2 or 3 days before, we're like, wait, we just signed a thing that says we can't talk about anything that we know. So we're
Which means all our predictions have to be wrong.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I think I just looked at Alex and said, look, I'm just going to give my Jira wish list. And if some of them happen, so be it. I didn't disclose anything.
Nice. I think I was joking with somebody at the conference that we should have had like a drinking game around how many times people said AI. So I think you could have just said anything about AI. I feel like the whole conference was like 90%. Yeah.
Google just had their I/O conference a couple of days ago, and they had AI counting the times that they said AI, and it was like 122 times.
122?
122 mentions of the word AI in the 2-hour presentation.
Damn.
So somebody should go back through the Atlassian keynote and track how many AIs or how many times AI was mentioned.
That's a good
Is
idea.
there an agent for that?
You can't be in tech anymore and not have like the word AI in there. It's like it's almost sacrilegious now.
And I wonder at what point it becomes like just standard, and we stop saying it. It's like, oh, you don't say Google search. You just like look at the internet,
I wonder how many people are still thinking like it's IE. Eventually it'll catch up. So also, Jensen, you should know that I've been told to be on my best behavior. So I usually get scolded because I definitely go off script, which is why I'm saying like I actually got the script up today. So I'm gonna try not to get you in trouble.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we against popular conceptions, we actually do have a script for every episode.
I just never open
Alex famously never reads said script. So Monday morning when I wrote the script up, the first draft, I'm like, Alex, we need to be on our best behavior for this one. I need you to actually read this script.
And he even told me I have to add questions. So I got my
I did.
fingerprint in there. Oh man, you should have seen we had Philip Braddock from the Atlassian Ventures team, and I just grilled them hard. And so they're like, you can't do that again.
No.
So anyways, let's kick it off, Rodney. What's the first thing we got on the agenda today?
Well, as always, thank you for the JirAmigos for being here. I see Yimmy, I see Sean, I see online
My wife.
Andy. I do see Lina there. As always, great to have you guys. If you're here with us live, put us. Presmus Law is here with us too. Yeah, if you're here with us live, put with us the last thing you had for a drink into the chat. And don't forget to also subscribe, like all the YouTube things we have to do. But yeah, let's get started with you, Jensen. First off, I don't think Atlassian was your first job. If I remember your LinkedIn right, you actually started at another company and had an interesting path into Atlassian. Why don't you talk about that?
Oh, yeah. So before Atlassian, I was at a little startup called Halp. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, but we were essentially the initial Atlassian assist. So we were acquired, I think, 4 years ago tomorrow. It's almost our 4-year anniversary. But we were basically the service desk Slack app that would connect to Zendesk, Jira Software, Jira Service Management, and allow you to create and log tickets from Slack and Microsoft Teams, and then it synced the combos back and forth. So I was part of I think we were 13 people that were acquired back in May of 2020 in the midst of COVID. So that was sort of the initial path. And back then I was in account management and sales, and then moved over to Atlassian, and we got consumed by JSM. And then I moved into the product lens there. And then my next project was launching JSM Chat, which essentially is like the revamped help for JSM, and then moved on to the virtual agent. So the JSM virtual agent was my project after that, and then moved into Rovo.
How did you do that transition from accounts to product? That's a way different hat, no?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think one of the benefits of having like a customer background and going into product is I'm extremely customer obsessed. And so I care a lot about what customers want, not necessarily like what's cool and shiny, but what actually is useful for people. And so I think that's really helped with that lens. And I had so many really great relationships with customers that it was really easy to have feedback loops and people to spar with and actually talk to customers. And so that was like a really, really nice thing to have in my back pocket. So that was really helpful. And then honestly, like the beauty of Halp is we were such a small team that I worked closely with every single person on the team. So I basically was taught how to be a PM from our CTO. And so it gave me a really unique perspective of sort of how to build products and how to work with engineers in the best way. So it was a cool journey, but I think it worked out well.
How big is your current team versus 13 back then?
Well, I mean, the thing about Rovo, at least Rovo Chat, is we're a startup within Atlassian. We've grown really, really, really fast. We're like hundreds of people now, but Rovo Chat in September of last year there's 3 of us. So I've gone from working with 2 engineers back in September or August, and now I think there's 50 engineers on my team just working on like chat and like the platform. And so we've grown really, really fast, but we still have that startup mentality, which is allowing us to move really, really quickly. Like I've never worked on a team that is shipping so fast. And so I swear, like every day there's like some new branch for me to test, or I throw something on the board that's like, oh, like I really want this. Like maybe in the next few sprints we can do it. And then it's literally there for me to test it that afternoon. And it's just the speed and velocity of these engineers is insane. And so it's letting us really get things out of the door really fast and into customers' hands very, very soon.
And how did you feel when, I guess internally, the news broke out that you guys were going to be that one more thing at the keynote? Because that's essentially what you guys were, right? It might comes out as like one more thing.
Yeah. I mean, last year we were just an idea, right? And we were working towards this sort of a spike and like innovation sprint of like, hey, let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can make it work. And again, like a small team of 2 engineers just hacking away. We threw it in dog feeding really, really fast. So like Atlassian had access to it. We were able to see if people used it, and it kind of just went viral internally. And we were able to just sort of prove it out really fast. And so when we decided that we wanted to ship it, it kind of just went a little wild. And then so it was, I mean, keynote prep was crazy this year, getting ready for team. Everything changes every minute. Shout out to all of the designers that worked on that, because that was blood, sweat, and tears went into that keynote. But yeah, it was a fast grind. And so we got to team, but now we got to get it into everybody's hands. So we're in the next grind.
I was going to say, I'm assuming the pressure now to really deliver that next iteration is really on, right? Although internally we joke around, right? Because part of our job is to kind of critique Atlassian as much as we possibly can. And so we got a bet pool going that Rovo will come out like March 31st, 2025.
Oh,
everybody has their dates, right? But it was like my favorite thing was like Atlassian whiteboards when they announced it last April. I was so excited. Whiteboards was my favorite feature last year, and I waited and waited and waited, and eventually
I think you're giving us too much lenience. I'll let you know we're moving faster than that.
You're moving fast. Pressure's on. I mean, you kind of have to move fast, right? Because like I'm assuming Atlassian's leadership team is like talking Rovo every day.
Well, we have to move fast in this world. I mean, look at how fast AI is going, like we got to get it into the market as soon as possible. Yeah. We just have to get it to a level where we're like super confident with the quality. Because obviously like so much of our effort goes into response quality and how effective the answers are and how happy people are with it. Because if we ship a product that is giving really terrible answers, that's not helpful. So we need it to be like in pristine condition. And we're really, really close to that. So I'm feeling good about getting into people's hands really soon.
I imagine, though, that you mean it was the big feature. It was one of the few things everyone was talking about after the keynote. So the pressure there to be moving fast. I mean, yeah, it's the AI world and it's moving fast on its own, but you have to be feeling a little bit pressure beyond that to say, no, people want it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, we have the wait list, and I promise you it's not a year-long wait list. We're gonna go into closed beta.
I shouldn't have disclosed my number for the winnings.
And to be fair, we are on the wait list.
Okay, yay. Okay, cool. Well, you know me now, so maybe I can, get you in sooner.
Yeah, we see our names, kind of just push it out there.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. I mean, for what it's worth, I have 15 customers using it right now. So it is in customers' hands. We have it in Lighthouse testing. We got it in customers' hands back in December. So they've been using it in their own instances and their sandboxes and their production instances and giving us like real feedback. So it's not something that is just like a pretend thing or vaporware. Like it is actually used by customers right now. And we're planning on extending that very soon. And then we'll be opening it up into like a closed beta fairly soon. Yeah. I can't like give dates, but like soon. There's like quite soon.
You might be there.
So we've been talking about Rovo for a bit now, about 15 minutes, and let's assume that someone somehow has missed the keynote and all of our other podcasts and all the other coverage. Why don't you tell us in your own words what Rovo is, so we kind of have a common basis here?
Yeah, so Rovo is essentially it's an additional product that we're selling at Atlassian, right? So it's going to sit on top of the platform. So you basically purchase Rovo or Atlassian Rovo, and it is something that encompasses quite a few different features. So it's a group of feature sets. It is something that sits at the site level on top of all of your products. So it's not something that only lives in Confluence or only lives in Jira. It lives across all of the products. It includes sort of three main pillars. So you have Find. So it's the ability to search for content, to find documentation, to understand questions. So if you wanted to ask, how do I submit PTO? It can give you a response. Or how do I, or like, what is the Jira Life podcast? It could find relevant documentation and answer that for you. And it goes on your permissions, right? It's not searching anything you don't have access to. So it has that search capability. The second pillar is Learn. So the ability to dive deeper on any content. So if you wanted to say like, okay, well, yeah, you told me with the Jira Life podcast, but like I might want to ask more things like, okay, well, who are the hosts? What's their backgrounds? Like all these things. So as long as there's some page talking about you guys, like I can answer all of that stuff. It's not searching the internet, it's searching your documentation. If I'm in Confluence and I ask that question, it's searching Jira, it's searching JSM, it's searching your ticket history, like it's searching everything. And so it's this all-encompassing solution. And then the third thing is act. So the ability to take these steps on your behalf. So if you wanted to create a draft of a Confluence page or create a ticket or break down issues, the ability to do those actions. So if you think about it in terms of feature sets, you have enterprise search. So the ability to connect 3P sources and search across content. So if you wanted to connect Google Drive and SharePoint and Slack and all of your Jira and Confluence data and have that singular source where you could go and you can ask a question and get answers based on your entire company's knowledge, you have that. So the enterprise search with third-party connectors. Then you have AI chat, which is sort of my baby. And so that basically is, think like a co-pilot that sits on top of the platform, and you can ask any question based on either the context of where you are. So I could say, hey, summarize this page if I'm on top of a page, or I could ask questions across different things. So there's that chat interface that basically is, think like ChatGPT, but instead of the internet, it's your Atlassian data. And then the third thing is AI agents or Rovo agents, which essentially allow you to both add like 3P capabilities. So if you wanted to, let's say, for example, install an app from the marketplace that has additional capabilities to do things outside of Atlassian, or you just want to adjust a prompt and have it act in certain ways. Maybe it's an expert in like the decision director is something that we showed at Team, which is like, hey, I'm an expert in helping you write decision documentation and I can critique it and give you feedback. You basically just do that with the prompt and it's like an out-of-the-box agent. So those are sort of the main 3 pillars and 3 features. There are more things that encompass it, but those are like the core functionalities of it. That's
really cool. Now, you mentioned something earlier, and then you said something a little bit later that I want to connect the two. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So since you're friends with the team that put the keynote part together, and if we could just, maybe next year's keynote or some marketing material, do that, what is the Jira Life? Have it type up on screen so everybody can see it. As you're demoing the powers of Rovo, we would totally not be mad.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe I'll do that in like one of my demos. I have to record a demo later about how I use AI, so maybe I'll do that.
We'll even give you access to our Jira.
Our Confluence too.
Yes.
That way, maybe Sean can see the scripts are not a lie. Alex just never reads them.
I don't have time, man. I'm like Elon. I just get on stage and start talking.
I'll get you access to Rovo next week, and then you can just use it to summarize the script.
There you go. See, we'll do the videos for you. Actually, Atlassian does do that quite a bit. So I don't know how much you know about so we have the Jira Life, but I also have my own main channel with over 600 videos on teaching people how to use Jira and Confluence and everything else. And some of the account executives.
You forgot award-winning.
Award-winning, yes, right there. Some of the enterprise account managers that handle the enterprise customers, like they find my channel and send my videos to their customers to know how to use Jira.
Alex.
There you go.
Sharif is in chat.
Hi, Sharif.
Sharif's like, I couldn't miss out on this one. Hello. Now we're playing with fire. But yeah. We'll just have to make all the how-to videos for how to use Rovo here.
Perfect.
I can live with that.
I was going to go to the next thing. So I have a story to share, and I'm kind of hoping that you guys have a cool little story too. But when I was in college, my wife built an autonomous lawnmower. And in the practicing of that autonomous lawnmower, a 4-legged furry creature may or may not have fallen victim of bad code. And so the mower ran right over said dog, whose name was Roy. So forever the robot was called Roy. And that's how the robot got its name. So Rovo is such a cute, awesome, cool name. Where did Rovo come from? Where's the inspiration for the name?
It's a good question. I mean, our branding team could probably give a better definition than me, but from funny story is that like we internally called it AI Mate for the last 6 months. And so that was like this cute little term we called it. And then we're now Rovo, and now we fell in love with that too. But Rovo, if you think like what I've heard from brand is, if you think of rovers, like the Mars rover, like advanced, exploring new territories, like think that. And then it also apparently Rovo in Italian means a blackberry bush. And so it's like the complexity of all of your data intertwined in a blackberry bramble. So think like a Mars rover exploring the blackberry brambles on Mars.
I love all the little extra stuff. See, only here on the Jira Life do you get that inside story. That's so cool. I actually do like the name Rovo.
I really like it too. We were between a few ones, and that was my favorite. So I'm glad we went with it.
Are you able, and I get you may not be able to share this, but are you able to share with us some of the rejects?
I don't know if I can.
Maybe it's a future LinkedIn post that you guys make or something.
Yeah, maybe.
You'd be surprised. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much the Atlassians pay attention to like the community, but we're a bunch of nerds over here, man. we eat this stuff up. Makes for really good trivia. The other thing I was going to mention along the lines, but now Rodney threw my train off, so I have to come back. It has something to do with the name. Oh boy, I'm way too tired. It's only 2 p.m.
It's only 2 p.m.
Come back to me, but it has something to do with the name.
So I'm looking through our notes here, our script we don't have. So you said you're using Rovo now. You have been for a while now. What is your I use this every day feature? I cannot live without it.
For me, I use it, I would say 90% of the time for like drafting content. So I have quite a few agents that do different things, but mainly like I use it for repurposing content a lot. So let's say I have, like for example, something I did recently is like I had an internal doc I had an external doc I made for Lighthouse customers about how to create agents, right? And it was like, hey, this is how you create an agent. Here are all the steps, blah, 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 blah. It took me, I don't know, like an hour to write it. Then I wanted to repurpose that for a blog. And so I made an agent that like I told it what tone I wanted. I told it the voice I wanted to have, what I wanted to cover, etc. And then I went to chat and I said, hey, can you rewrite this, but make an internal blog and tell Atlassians how to make agents? And then it wrote me a whole blog in 5 seconds. And it was like, I didn't actually change anything. I published a blog and it would have taken me hours to do anyways. So just like repurposing content is maybe one of my main like boilerplate, like daily go-tos, is sort of my main one. I'd say I use it every day for, but I use it a lot for finding things. We have a lot of projects going on in Atlassian and a lot of overlap. And so seeing who's working on what's going on where. So I use it a lot for those kind of things as well. And I feel like typically with Rovo, like I start with a search. I'm always like, oh, what is this thing? I don't know what it is. And then I learn, and then I end up doing that act. So I go through all 3 pillars. So it's like, okay, well, what is this? Tell me more about it. And then it's like, okay, now like, let me summarize that, write a page, write the content so that I can actually share that out, or at least have notes for myself. And then I publish a page out of that, and then I can share it with the team or something like that.
This is so cool. I think one of the things that excites me most about Rovo is, and something you've been saying over a couple of times, right? It's not just constrained to Jira or JSM or Confluence, right? It's really looking at an organization and what the business that these companies, your customers, put together, right? And I'm excited for like onboarding new employees, right? Because when you're drinking water from the fire hydrant type of thing, like it's crazy the amount of time it takes you to just get up to speed. Right. And just being able to like maybe more strategically ask it questions or go down intelligent rabbit holes. I think that would be like so cool to see how it changes onboarding for a lot of companies.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Team 23, one of the features that was in the keynote that I'm like, oh my God, this will change things, is the little rainbow highlight words that are keywords for the company. And then you could go down that rabbit hole, because I've been at new companies that have their own unique lingo and trying to understand, well, what do they mean by, and the example given in keynote, and one I've been using because it's been stuck in my head, is what do they mean by blueberry?
Yeah, exactly. And one thing we've done is we've made all of those sort of federated or like in product features and those quick buttons. Because like one of the things about AI that's hard is like that blank slate experience, right? Because like anything is possible. And so it's like, how do I start? And so one of the biggest challenges we're going to have in enabling people on Rovo is telling them how to get started in like the prompts, right? So like contextual and like important and leading prompts for us is like one of our most important things to accomplish.
Yeah, because it's overwhelming, the art of the possible. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't like using ChatGPT, because I'm like, I don't even know how to ask it something. Like it's so much. I can ask it anything.
Yeah. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is we're taking like AI definitions that you just talked about. So like, let's say I underline the Jira Life. I'm like, what's the Jira Life? And it highlights, gives you definition. We're adding LLM generated follow-up questions below that. And so we give you follow-up questions underneath that definition. And when you click on that definition, it spits you into chat. And so you can keep diving deeper on it. So it allows you to sort of drive you through that conversation. And then inside of chat, it gives you follow-up questions. And so like you could literally go down like a 30 message conversation without ever typing anything that helps you learn things without even knowing what you're asking, you know? Yeah.
I love that, but for my neurodivergent family out there, I worry about that because I could see so much of my own time wasted just going down the rabbit hole constantly. Well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Before I know it, half my day has been spent on Rovo.
Yeah, but look at how much you've learned about the Jira Life.
Quicker than you would have done it via a journey of self-discovery too. Yeah, right? Because you would have to go click and find links and make the connections and the bridges in your head yourself. So I think it's a smart and streamlined rabbit hole.
It is, and it's exciting. It's just I might need to set an alarm before I go diving.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jensen, so one of the things, here on the Jira Life too, we like to give Atlassian ideas for future product development. Not sure this is on your roadmap, but you mentioned that one of the things you guys are working on is like almost training the folks that are going to be using it, like how to ask it or how to interact with it a little bit better by giving those prompts, right? But on the flip side, I can also see Atlassian maybe helping people, because from a behavior perspective, I might now start documenting in Confluence so that it's easier or more intuitive for Rovo to find it, right? I might start writing my documentation in a way that's more queryable than before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's really going to change the way that people are writing content and documenting things, and maybe it'll allow people to be less verbose, which I think is a good thing. So
that's really cool. I want to ask you a hard one. I think this is hard, right? Okay. At least it would be for me if I was in your seat. But so Rovo, really powerful, right? Cross products, but we still have Atlassian Intelligence, and those are still siloed to the individual tools. How does Atlassian decide parity of features? What goes to Rovo? What stays within Atlassian Intelligence? Like, how does that now play into road mapping and decision making with you?
Yeah, guys? I mean, that's a great question. So Atlassian Intelligence is premium and enterprise. You get that included, right, with your premium and enterprise subscriptions. The way that we're thinking about Rovo is really a layer on top, right? And so it's supercharging AI, right? It's supercharging Atlassian Intelligence, and it's saying, okay, well, now you want to do functions across so many different things. A big thing is the 3P and like being able to pull that in. Not all of the Atlassian Intelligent features are necessarily product by product. They're not necessarily searching across product, right? They're not
right. Yeah, they're very siloed there.
They're siloed, but there's some things like have you seen Smart Link summaries?
Not yet.
Okay, so I can show you guys, but essentially that's like if I have a page, I can take, let's say I have a Confluence page and it has a link to a Jira ticket. I can summarize that Jira ticket. So it still has the ability through like linking, it's called linking platform, to search and summarize different things within there. And so that it's not necessarily like a hard-coded line of like, okay, it has to be in Jira.
Yeah, it ends here, right?
Yeah, so it's not like this like strict line. But we mainly are focusing on those 3 pillars, right? So like find, learn, act. And so if you look at Atlassian Intelligence, we've got a ton of like summarization features. That, for example, will summarization that will stay Atlassian Intelligent. That's a core feature. That's something that people are using every day. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like we need to have that. That's boilerplate AI functionality. So it's more advanced into like let me search across this giant index. Like if you think about all of the content of Jira and all of the Confluence content and all of your Google Drive content and SharePoint and all of these like massive sources coming together and bringing that into this find and having that enterprise searchability. that's Rovo, right? And
It's
then
not
the
even a
third,
competing product then at that point, because
what do you mean?
Rovo to me now seems more like organizational insight versus Atlassian Intelligence is more like a convenience to augment the end user.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And like, I feel like Atlassian Intelligence features are helping. I mean, Rovo's helping an individual user too, but it's really helping them a ton, right? Like it's
Right.
hours a day it's saving you. Like the Atlassian Intelligence features are saving you a lot of time, and they're allowing you to do these different things like summarizing comments or like breaking down issues. That's probably my favorite feature we've launched this year, is like breaking down a Jira epic into multiple issues. And so it's really assisting you in time savings versus using Rovo. It's helping you generate new content, and it's helping you dive deeper into things, and it's helping you be more creative. And it's kind of like this sidekick alongside you and this teammate that's really pushing you to do more work.
At what point does Rovo then become more like Jarvis, right? Because the way I see Tony Stark's relationship with Jarvis, right, where he's kind of almost asking him for an opinion if you look at the Marvel universe, right? Like at what point do I as a product manager or a scrum master, am I sitting with Rovo and going like, what do you think about this? Like,
I mean, that's how I use it today. If Jarvis wasn't like, it's probably not allowed to use the name, or we'll use that instead of Rovo.
I've looked at it. It is. Only Disney can use it at this point.
Yeah. Too bad. Taken.
But that's something I was thinking during the keynote, because they gave that great demonstration of removing the feature flag.
Mm-hmm.
And any developer has ever had to do that headache knows that is a headache. So seeing that done automatically made me go, oh, that's awesome. That's going to save me so much time. But it also made me think, how much trust do I give this guy, this Rovo? Because at this point, he is editing the code. I mean, it's within the narrow confines I define, but he is editing the code for me.
Yeah, but that's why we're intentionally always keeping a human in the loop, right? And so like everything that happens, it's not actually like committing the code, right? It's opening a PR that you review and then you commit the code, right? And so we're intentionally making sure there's always a human saying like, okay, I approve this, or I agree to this comment, or I'm doing these different things. Like we're never having it do something without somebody saying like, okay, cool. Yeah, like that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, I work with big enterprises, right? And so I think one of the things I'm most excited about in using Rovo is trying to figure out what the pain points are within the system, right? Because delivery is usually the hardest part, right? Like everybody I coach on how to use Jira, we're like, okay, so we got a plan. We make the plan. And then somehow the plan never comes together. And I would love to be able to like leverage the power of Rovo to understand all the other noise that is causing that plan to not come to life, to help me figure out, okay, why or how can I fix it so that the plan does come to life.
Yeah.
And I think you guys, this is like a potential really, really big disruptor, right? Because if Rovo can eventually become like a Jarvis, these companies that are just stuck or not getting traction or just in failure to launch to market type of thing, right? Like AI is really going to play a critical role there.
Yeah, and like one of the I don't know if you remember in the keynote, there's a few different like archetypes of agents, and one of them is a workflow agent. So basically like inserts itself. And so you can have it come and be proactive in terms of like making sure that things are moving along. And I think that's really helpful because sometimes you don't want to be that person, like that human's like, hey, ping, and if a robot does it, it's not like rude.
Are you able to explain those in a little bit more detail? Because I didn't really understand the purpose of the different personas, if you will.
Yeah. So it's more of like an architectural thing, like the archetypes that we have working on. So there's one that's sort of a like the comms crafter was one that we showed that allows you in like voice and tone or brand director. And so it has the ability to look at content you've written and see if it like matches your brand guidelines, or it helps you write. So it's the archetype, sorry, I was blanking. It's called create and review. Came to me. And so it allows you to create content, review content. It looks at your information, tells you if it like submits brand content or whatever you prompt that agent with, right? So you write the prompt, or you use one of our predefined agents that has something, but you probably will edit it to be matched to your company guidelines. And it can review the content, help you draft it, and make sure that it's aligned with what you're trying to do. So it's helping. It's kind of like a copywriter, right? But
do you put these things like Legos together and you're like, I want this agent and this agent and this agent, like, or is it just, are you just stuck with one agent? Like, can you hybridize? I'm trying to use nice words. I want to use different words. Like a hodgepodge of agents, or is it just gonna be like
right
he wants an agent stack?
Yeah. Right now it's one agent when you're starting, but you do the ability, like I could start, let's say I had a conversation and let's say I have like a PM agent, right? That helps me draft my project boards. And I go ahead and I draft this project plan, and I'm using the project manager as my assistant. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should have my engineering manager review this and like give some feedback and tell me if I'm completely insane and this is going to take 15 years to build, right? I could have like an engineering persona, this engineering agent, and then I could invite that engineer to the chat, and I can ask that engineer questions and be like, hey, can you call out anything crazy in here? And it can just call out things and basically call out red flags before I actually send it to my human engineering manager to then like give it a proper review. But the agents aren't talking to each other, right? The agents are talking to me. So it's not in this continuous cycle.
But now so under the hood though, the agent has some understanding of the world, of its world, but then has understanding of the data.
Right? Yeah, so there's a few things that build an agent. So an agent has a prompt. So it has directions. Think like if you were to build a custom GPT, right? You give it a custom prompt. So it has the prompt that gives it goals, directions, guidance, a purpose. All of that is in the prompt. And then you have knowledge. So you can say, okay, well, I want you to look at all of my Atlassian knowledge, or I want you to just look at this Confluence space, or I just want you to look at this Jira board, or I want you to look at like this. Well, we're going to add CQL and JQL. So like you could get really specific. Or you could say 3P content, or once we have like these marketplace Forge apps as well, you could grab those. So you have that. So you have prompt, so instructions, you have knowledge, and then you'll have capabilities. And so you'll say, okay, well, you're able to do these things. So like outside of the core actions you have, you can also do these 7 things that are like additional. And so you just program it to have this specific brain.
Yeah. Now blink once for yes and twice for no, in case you can't answer this. But does Rovo then, because you're saying it's accessing data, right? And not I'm not trying to get into privacy stuff or anything like that, but does Rovo then behave or act as your permissions or a global permissions? Like, because what if you have a restricted Confluence space or page?
What a great question.
And blink again. You can blink if you don't want to answer.
No, this is like this is a really tough one, right? And so like we've been going back and forth on this one a lot, but essentially, Rovo will only give you access to information you have access to, right? So like if let's say I had a private page that talks about all of the things about Rovo I'm not allowed to tell you about, and then we both were part of Confluence, and this one's private, and you asked a question, you would not get any of the answers from my private page. But I would. So it respects the person who asked the question's permissions, right?
But then if we're in a chat together and you ask it a question from something private, does it know then to not share it?
Well, we don't have shared conversations yet. So that's not something that
again, I'm giving you guys ideas.
No, but it's good. Like, I mean, like eventually, like when we're in Slack or something, right? And there's a Slack channel, we need to respect the proper permissions. And so that basically we would only share from public content at that point.
Yeah, because I can also see a functionality you guys can build into like Confluence to like maybe make the page private to Rovo, but not necessarily to people.
Yeah, but then we don't want Rovo to give access to people who don't have access to that page, right?
And we've seen that with other competing tools, ChatGPT, where people have been able to word the prompt just carefully enough to access information they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So that has to be very careful balancing act right there.
So we're taking the much more conservative approach of like, if it is something that will be shared without a human saying something, then it will only be public content.
So question for Alex real quick. What kind of question do you want to ask in a shared chat.
Dude, I come from a military background with a top secret need to know basis, but I'm such a curious person. So I the more information that's in my brain, the better. But I that's the reason why I don't work defense anymore. I just can't deal with a compartmentalization of information. And this is one of the things that I actually truly do love about Atlassian, because you said something way at the beginning, right? That you guys were testing this internally before.
Mhm.
And I almost applaud you because we didn't find out about Rovo until Team.
And I'm really
Right.
proud of everybody for not leaking it.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
I think Rovo was like this. It really, truly was a one more thing, at least for me. And even though I knew from the week before, I still wasn't expecting it when they dropped it at the moment they dropped it, right?
Yeah.
But it's just it's interesting. Like, you guys have such an open culture, such an open, just a collaborative environment, but still building this tool. Because what I see a lot of the time, like my biggest gut, like punch in the gut, is like, I want to, because I'm a Jira admin, right? I want to restrict a user to only see his or her tickets. I'm like, why are you using Jira at that point? Like, it's a tool to work together as a team. There's no I in team.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and the thing about like Rovo and AI is it's only as powerful as the data has access to, right? If you lock down all of your content, it's not going to be as helpful.
So
like it'll give me access to my content.
Apply.
Yeah, it's just at that point you're losing so much value.
I wonder how many, like, I could totally see like an Apple behaviorism, right, of companies like intentionally creating fake products to kind of see who's leaking using whatever AI to see what's making it out there.
I don't think I could say if I've seen it before, but just blink once.
Blink once for yes, twice for no.
Yeah, but like back to your dog fooding point though, like it's been really cool. Like we launched our like V1 of agents in January or February, I don't remember, but internally we've had over 500 agents made. So like so much that we had to like add in new features that allowed you to like filter the list down because it was too hard to find one. It was like almost broke agents for us because people went so ham on it internally. Yeah.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. I should have started this off before the show started. Like, I'm the master interrupter here.
Yeah.
We had Joanne and Marie come on, the certification ladies, and like the number of times I was just interrupting, and Marie was like, "Can you stop talking so I can talk?" Like, sorry, you got questions. I wanted to ask. So, one of my coolest, favorite, most awesomest features, and I could kiss everybody at Atlassian for this one. I can now, using natural language, help or have Atlassian Intelligence help me build automation rules. I hate it. I hate automation rules. Yeah, I use it daily. I use it daily. Will Rovo have something similar for ease of creation, or am I gonna have to crack open like a PhD book to know how to use Rovo or build?
Do you
mean
agents? Like create automations from within Rovo,
no,
or like
build the agent?
Build the agent.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make a lot of things that help you build it. That's really important because there's such a learning curve to prompting, right? Like that's not something we should expect everybody to be able to do, and it is difficult to make a really, really valuable agent without knowing how to prompt at all, and it takes time. So we have a lot of plans to basically use AI to make you be able to
be better. Yeah, because like, I've tried to use data analytics, and like you need 15 PhDs just to even make one graph, one picture. So I'm hoping Rovo isn't Atlassian Analytics.
Well, we're going to integrate with Atlassian Analytics to help you use Atlassian Analytics.
Thank you. That would be awesome.
You're welcome. Yeah.
That would be great. Now I'll justify my cost.
So we touched on this before, but I really do want to ask, from your experience, how has being the product manager for an AI-based product been different from your previous roles?
Ronnie bringing it back to the script.
Throw me for a loop.
And to clarify, like, because like the pressure is on for AI, right? Like the whole world's talking AI.
Yeah.
And so, like, have you felt your role be different? Like, is it more like cutthroat? Is it more relaxed? Is it all eyes are on you?
I wouldn't say it's more relaxed. Probably not more relaxed, but I think the thing about it is it's just moving really fast, right? So like somebody's shipping something new and a new competitor's out every single week. And there's just so much information to digest and so much to learn. And it's all new, right? Like I didn't know about any of this 2 years ago. So it's like a constant learning curve and trying to digest things. But I'll say it, like what I love about the team. So the org that owns Rovo is called Central AI at Atlassian. And everybody is so damn smart and very, very not like, they don't have egos. And so everybody will answer all my questions. It's really nice. It's like a very welcoming group of very smart people. And we have a lot of people that come from a history of AI. So like we have a ton of people from like Microsoft and Meta and everything that's like coming in with all of this knowledge that's helping us build this really, really, really well. And so anyways, I feel very privileged to work with such kind and like empathetic and smart people that have helped me learn and grow through this. But I think it's exciting and it's fast paced. And what is interesting about the AI stuff is, well, we're building it really fast. And so much of it happens behind the scenes, right? Like on other products I've worked on, a lot of it is like, okay, well, how can we like build this into the product and like visualize it and add all of these things and blah, blah, blah. And like, how do we do the onboarding and how do we set up the settings? And like, none of that has to happen. It just kind of does it for you because it's AI. And so you don't have to like create all of these flows and settings and like configuration. It's just automatically there. And so that's really cool. So a lot of it is a little bit more behind the scenes. So it's been fun. But yeah, no, I think it's really fast paced and changes a lot, which is exciting.
I wanted to get your opinion on this. So Mark Kruth, I'm sure you know him, is one of the unofficial faces of Atlassian. I guess he might be official.
Semi-official.
Semi-official. He talks a lot. He's out there a lot. He's on the road a lot. But Mark Ruth and I were kind of talking about this, right? So we were, I did a config and cruise with Salto where we were driving around Las Vegas during team, and I was interviewing a few people during the interview. And so Mark Ruth was one of the guys I talked to. And I was telling him, I'm a little concerned about being a Jira admin and AI because my job of making a workflow, it's kind of going to go away, right? Do an automation rule. I used to spend hours having to figure out how to use a freaking automation rule. Now I spend 10 seconds making an automation rule, right? So I'm a little concerned, again, for that role of the admin. But at the same time, as you're saying, like all these agents and new ways of using it, I see like a new job description opening up for your admins. Like any thoughts, opinions on that?
100%, right? Like, I think that a Jira admin, this is my like personal opinion. I think you'll go from being like having to do more manual laborious tasks that aren't maybe as interesting, like creating a bunch of automations all the time that are repetitive, to like building agents and like building things that are useful and managing like how agents are interacting with different teams and associating things. I think it'll be more, a Jira admin will be a lot more agent focused, in my opinion.
That's been my point, because Alex is not the first person to express this. A lot of people have asked me about this, and to be clear, I think the Jira admin job description will be changing just by the nature of the AI overlords coming into effect, quote unquote. But as I said, I've always felt that we're going to go from being the originators to being curators. We'll kind of take the best of breed from wherever we find it, cough, tech, and then putting it into our instances and allowing our teams to use it.
I would be so curious to see Rovo analyze Loom recordings of how to do stuff to then teach others how to, or like learn from the video. Because if it could access my entire YouTube channel library, like it could teach anybody how to do anything.
Well, it can like if you put a link to Loom in Rovo chat, it can read the
because summarize it, right? So yes, and then if we can build documentation, because again, I'm thinking fresh out of college, new hat, big shoes to fill, overwhelmed. You're working with these PhDs in AI, and all of a sudden you have to add value to the company. It's a very overwhelming thing to do, right? But if all of a sudden you can just ask it smarter questions, then you can get farther ahead quicker than stumbling your way through code and trying to understand what the heck's going on.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so excited for the future. Yeah, so scared.
So I'm going to cut this off here because we do have something else we need to talk about. Alex, I believe you're wearing a particular shirt today for a reason.
I am. There we go.
I only bring this up because we've had several JirAmigos bring up this particular news story today.
See, but it's Indiana. If it was like maybe New Mexico, I would give it to you. But it's Indiana.
But like a burrito? I don't know. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich?
This is a dangerous question you started asking here, Jensen.
I don't think a taco or a burrito is a sandwich.
There you go.
Thank you. That's my I just like don't like tacos are taco.
Tacos are taco.
I agree. Taco is not a sandwich. It is a stromboli.
Rodney just likes to play with our hearts.
Like if we start calling taco sandwiches, are raviolis sandwiches?
No, they're Pop-Tarts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. Have you seen the toast? What is it called? Toasted, the movie that came out about Pop-Tarts? I need to watch that.
I have not yet.
No, but Jerry Seinfeld has been doing commercials on it.
It looks good.
We have so Jensen, just to give you a little appreciation of what the Jira Life is unlike many other YouTube channels out there, even my main YouTube channel, right? Like we do have this group here of JirAmigos. This shirt was actually gifted to me by one of the marketplace vendors. Who did you hear? We had a 24-hour live stream here one time, a couple months ago.
No.
No, so we stayed on for 24 hours, some more than others. I fell asleep a couple times before Rodney. I got to throw myself in front of the bus before Rodney throws me in front of the bus, right? And in that 24-hour live stream, I think on the 23rd hour, I'm like, we're just dead. The three of us are just like, we're done. Right? we're counting down the minutes. And one of these marketplace vendors comes on to like kind of spruce up the conversation, and he's like, "Is a taco a sandwich?" And that like piqued my interest and like jolted me right back to life, right? But because of those conversations, right, because of those insignificant, just wake somebody up, we have like a whole trending thing now. and this is like my favorite thing about this Jira Life community that we've been building here, right? It's like everybody here on this chat is like insiders to some very nerdy jokes that we get to then share once a year when we see each other in person.
That's so fun.
So, in speaking of some of these jokes, Jensen, it is now time for our quick Quizlet. Now, quick Quizlet, for those who don't know, it's going to be 5 questions. They're going to be either A, B, yes, no, or short answer, fill in the blanks. Okay. The idea is to give your initial answer to each question as fast as possible, and then after each question, we'll give you a little bit of time to explain it, if so you choose.
Okay.
Today, however, everyone gets to join in. So I'm putting the link in chat. There's a QR code. Join in and put a pin down where you are in the U.S.
Does Jensen get to see the results?
Not until I show them.
Okay, because I think last time you were skewing the answer from the guest by prematurely showing the results.
I am aware, and I have done something about it.
Awesome. Jimmy says, bring it. Are you ready, Jensen? This is the best part of the whole Jira Life. This is where relationships are made or broken. That on the dance floor.
So we got 2 on. I'll give it a couple more seconds.
Jensen's you don't even have on this map where I am.
Where are you?
I'm in New Zealand. You don't even have the country on this map.
We don't. I didn't notice that.
Can't even put a pin down.
Are you in Auckland too?
No, you can just put it down right there.
Okay. All right, I'll do it now.
We have somebody, a big partner of ours from New Zealand, and the first time he introduced himself to me, he's like, "I'm from Auckland." And I'm like, why are you telling me? I know where Oakland is. Like, you don't need to give me this information. Like, I know exactly where it is, right? Like, don't go there after dark. Heck, don't even go there during the day because it's dangerous.
I love Oakland. I lived in Oakland for like 4 years. Oakland is one of my favorite cities in the world.
Go today.
Go
today and see if you walk away with the same love.
All right, so let's get going with our first question. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
All right, give everyone else their time to answer. We're looking for 6 total.
There it is.
Got 6.
Cafefe.
Wow. I mean,
We
I
got
also
7
love
people
tea,
now.
but I just would choose coffee.
All right. So we all know the animated file format. Do you say it as GIF or do you say it as GIF?
GIF. GIF is peanut butter.
All right. Let's wait for our last 3 answers. See if they're coming in.
There it is. There's 6.
5, 6. I'll go ahead and call it.
Hard G.
So you are in the majority there. And someone agrees with me that they should just alternate between the two to cause chaos.
That's true. I agree with that too.
All right. So company or team managed projects in Jira.
Team.
Wrong answer.
Well, so this is a tough one. Okay. So I like team managed because it's really easy to make fields and it's set up. And I
As
like
a product manager, I
like
put this
the
in because you
workflow.
are a project manager and I know they love the team managed projects.
No, I would like the features of team managed in company managed, and then I would choose company managed. I just like how easy it is to make a workflow.
All right, let's see how everyone else voted.
You dropped a little bit of points on my favorite Atlassian though.
Okay,
Just-
that's all right. I
But to be fair,
workflow.
I do need to go back and psychoanalyze every Atlassian that I know about team versus company.
Well, we could try it again. There's been improvements.
All right.
I'll never touch team managed.
So question number 4. And this one is fill in the blank. What is your Jira pet peeve?
Screen schemes.
Issue type screen schemes.
Screen schemes.
Issue
Schemes
type
for screen
schemes.
schemes.
There's issue type schemes, issue type screen schemes, screen
Mhm.
schemes, screens. And I use the babushka doll to demonstrate how it all works.
No, I couldn't tell you. I just click on them 17 times until I get it.
Until you get it right. Let me tell you, I got an hour-long video on my YouTube
Years
channel
for
that
me.
explains it for you.
I've also got a blog post that explains it for you.
Oh, perfect.
Let's
Okay,
just
so
feed it to Rovo and we'll never have to worry about it ever again.
that's exactly right. Yeah, once it can read documentation, it's perfect.
That's what you guys should do.
Also,
You guys should
I
do
would
like-
want to have a word with the person who said their Jira pet peeve is it's not Trello.
Oh, that would have been my answer. I'm not Trello. I'm not.
Oh,
a
it's not Trello. I thought they were saying their pet peeve is not Trello.
Oh,
get it.
Yeah, they want it to be Trello and it's not, and that's their pet peeve.
I see. Yeah, well, that's fair.
for the record, this one
Alright.
right here with Bob, Sharif is like tied up there with Mark Ruth. By the way, I just happen to spend more time with Mark Ruth in my life.
Mark has so much energy. Last question. Is cheesecake actually a pie?
Or a
No.
taco.
So your
No.
answer is no. Let's get a few more votes in here, and then we'll see if people agree with you. Cheesecake is not a pie. We got 3, just a few more. I think I lost some people.
Uh-oh. You lost the interest, man. It's because Jensen likes team managed projects. That's what like turned everybody off.
I know. I lost the audience on that one. I'm sorry.
Wrong crowd to say yes on team managed.
I know. It really depends on what I'm trying to do, you know? I go back and forth between my last. I think I really lost the audience on these last few questions, you guys. Not a
So-
favorite. It's fine.
3 for yes, cheesecake is a pie. One person says agrees with you, says cheesecake is not a pie. And one person had the correct answer. Hashtag taco is a sandwich.
I thought taco's
Which
not
is-
a sandwich.
It's not. That's he's bullying me. You should see the hate that I get on the internet, Jensen.
I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
All right. Who do we got next week? And thank you very much, Jensen.
Thank you
All
guys.
right.
This was really fun.
I'm hosting next year. I'm hosting Team 25.
Oh, you are? Okay, perfect.
I live in
Yeah.
Anaheim, so I'm hosting.
Oh, sick. I'm excited it's in Anaheim next year.
Yep. So
I'm really interested to see where Bash is. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. And again, I don't know. I don't work for Atlassian, neither does Alex, but I have
we
my
all,
wish
we
list.
all know where we hope it is.
Yeah, I know.
It's on Earth.
That's right, at Alex's house.
No, my house.
So
Oh, man, I better start-
next week we have another special episode. We're actually having our friends from Resolution, Refined, Easy Agile, and Easy BI all on a super episode as they present some of their discoveries, interviews, and adventures from their Beyond Team 24 tour they just went on, where they went to St. Louis, Toronto, Chicago, New York. There's supposed to be a fifth one in there, but I can't remember what it is.
Thank you, Jensen.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, also, we're going to be in
awesome.
Phoenix in 2 weeks. We're Rodney and I in the Jira Life. We'll be in Phoenix in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Right.
So we got a bunch of awesome episodes coming on. This one, Jensen, it was amazing to have you on. It's amazing to talk about Rovo.
Hopefully, I don't get you in trouble and or fired.
No, I think I was okay.
You think you were good?
I think we're good.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I think
one
we're
for
good.
yes, twice for no.
I'll have
Tell
to
your
read
boss.
it off.
But
All right.
as
Bye.
always, we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.
Thank you for listening to the Jira Life. Our hosts are Alex, Dr. Jira Ortiz, and Rodney, the Jira Guy, Nissen. You can find Alex on YouTube at 8Tech Tutorials, and Rodney's blog is found over at thejiraguy.com. Our producers are Robert King Bob Wen and Lina Ortiz. You can catch us live as we record this podcast every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at The Jira Life. Be sure to join us and our other JirAmigos of the Peanut Gallery every week to ask your questions, let us know your comments, and just tell us what you're up to. But if you can't join us live, you can still catch the replay over on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell while you're watching. We're also available as a podcast over on Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you listen to it and think it deserves a rating, we would very much appreciate it, as it will help others discover the Jira Life. Because we didn't choose the Jira Life. The Jira Life chose us.